All right, so let's start with the big story that we're tracking on Beyond at this hour, where protests erupted in Hong Kong on the 23rd anniversary of the city's handover to China. The pro-democracy activists in Hong Kong were out on the streets, condemning the newly enacted national security law by Beijing for Hong Kong. Now, the city's police have banned all protests, citing COVID-19 restrictions, even though local transmission has effectively ended in Hong Kong. The minor protests were organized near the venue of the annual flag-raising ceremony, and protesters chanted "End one-party rule" and "Withdraw national security law." The police officers also frisked the protesters and followed them throughout the morning. For the first time in 17 years, citizens were denied permission to organize the annual pro-democracy rally to mark the handover day from Britain to China. And it was business as usual for the chief executive, Carrie Lam, who oversaw the flag-raising ceremony. A giant billboard was erected nearby to support the new security law. Carrie Lam has been a forceful proponent of the law, calling it the biggest development since Hong Kong's handover from Britain to China that took place back in the year 1997. Now, there was action in the PLA garrison in Hong Kong as well. The troops stationed in Hong Kong carried out a joint military drill to showcase their land, air and sea capabilities. While the PLA claims that it informed the Hong Kong government about the drill, the timing is very suspicious. Now, these drills can only be interpreted as a warning to Beijing's opponents in the city. All right, now to give us more perspective in terms of what's actually happening in Hong Kong on such an important day as this, we're joined in by Richard Kimber, who's presently in Hong Kong and is tracking all the developments for us. Richard, first of all, give us a sense as to what is happening on the streets of Hong Kong as people woke up today. On the day of the handover anniversary, it was 23 years ago this day that China gained control of Hong Kong.
That's right. Well, it's a national holiday here, so not work as usual, but many people planning to come out into the city anyway in around 2 or 3 hours' time to gather, as protest organisers have asked them to do, to show their opposition to this law, even though, of course, now it's already been passed and is very much in force here in Hong Kong.
Right, there seems to be a bit of a connection with my colleague Richard Kimber. They will try and get him back online with us. But this is what is playing out on the streets of Hong Kong. It's a very controversial security law has now been enacted and it has come into effect from today. Now, this is a law that effectively, many people say, puts an end to the one country, two systems compromise that had been struck back in the year 1997 when Britain had ceded the control of Hong Kong to China. Now, this one country, two systems principle was to end in a span of 50 years. So it had to last out till the year 2047, after which this compromise of one state, two systems would have lapsed, and then Hong Kong would have become a part of mainland China governed by Chinese law. But that is not happening. Beijing, it appears, is in a bit of a hurry to try and impose its own law on what so far had been a semi-autonomous city-state.